This is One on One with Jane Mitchell.
The tenacious Trevor Hoffman, the Padres pitcher called in to save the game, is emerging as the best closer in baseball.
There's no better position in this game, I don't think.
Serious, sentimental, with a sense of humor, time with him and his family reveals he's all of the above. In some respects with Trevor Hoffman, what you see is what you get. But it's what he usually doesn't let you see that helps explain his closer mentality, his makeup, his magnetism, as he's making his mark in the game. Trevor Hoffman could have inspired the saying, "Never let them see you sweat." With the game on the line, his game face is on. Sober, stoic, even as his adrenaline is pumping.
So high, so high. I mean, your heart's pumping, and you're tight. You're trying to calm down, and you know the lineup. You know the three guys you're going to face when you go in there. But once I get out to the main mound out there, it's like, whew, it's calm. You know, this is where I wanted to be for the last 3 hours.
This is where he's wanted to be his whole life. Trevor William Hoffman was born October 13th, 1967, raised in Anaheim, California.
I think I was a pretty happy kid, to be honest with you. Two loving parents that allowed me to just be myself and not have a lot of pressures on me.
And two older brothers he craved to be with, wanted to be like.
To one day beat them at something. And you know, I'm doing this at 5 years old, 6 years old, and all they're worried about was eliminating me from their ping pong game or the wiffle ball game.
He wouldn't go off and play with his buddies. He wanted to stick around, so we'd have all these type of, rules to get rid of him. Baseball, okay, you can hit until you strike out. 1, 2, 3, gone. Okay, next guy up. Stuff like that.
The competitive nature, I think, comes just from being three boys and growing up together and fighting over what's on the table to eat or what card game we're going to play.
At just 6 weeks old, Trevor had a defective kidney removed, restricting him from contact sports, but not much else. His brother Greg, 13 years older, pursued high school basketball coaching and teaching special education. Glenn, 10 years older than Trevor, became a Major League Baseball player. While sports dominated their household, his parents' story inspired his appreciation for the arts. In 1950, Trevor's mother, Mickey, was a blossoming British ballerina. His father, Ed, an American and war veteran, was the tenor in the traveling quartet, the Royal Guards.
He had a fabulous voice.
They met in England, shared a stage for a command performance for the King and Queen. Romance bridged a 20-year age difference. They were married 43 years before Ed Hoffman died of cancer in 1995.
I think of him every day, and it's been extremely tough, having gone through some of these things that I know he would have loved and would love to experience.
I don't think I ever heard him have a crossword with his boys. I took on the tough role, and their dad was always the soft spot.
And he credits both for their influences on him, his mother's athleticism, his father's professionalism.
He had that aura about him. He'd play the crowd, he'd build up the scene, and that has a little bit to do with what we do when the stage is on us.
Ed Hoffman's second career took him to the post office so he could be home with his family. But the entertainer in him sang the national anthem through the years at his son's Little League and Major League games as an Angels singing usher.
It wasn't just that he was singing his country's national anthem, and it was awesome to watch him do it. I always got nervous, though. I always got nervous he was going to forget the words, and he never did. He always aced it.
Hoffman family vacations followed Glenn's baseball career, so Trevor experienced Major League batting practice with the Red Sox at 13 years old. He knew this is where he wanted to be. As an infielder at Savannah High School, he had a good arm but couldn't hit for power because he was small and skinny. Coach Mike Quigley recalls what Trevor lacked in size, he made up for in determination.
He just dedicated hours after practice. He would ask us to hit ground balls just to him alone. He just wanted to be better and better all the time.
That mystique I had to live up to, going to the same high school as my brothers and, you know, playing the same sports that they did.
Baseball and basketball.
You know, coming through at 5'2", 110 pounds, you better be real good, otherwise you're, you know, you're going to take a back seat. And I was just kind of an average Joe in high school. There's no doubt about it.
Then he grew.
Well, I sprouted up another 4 or 5 inches and put on 50 pounds and actually was able to compete at a level where I needed to start proving myself.
Starting at the nearby Cypress Junior College with Coach Scott Pickler.
So he wasn't highly recruited. You know, he was more of a basketball player. People weren't sure. We saw something there that we thought was special. He hit 300 for us. He was all league for us. He went to Arizona as a shortstop.
Trevor's second proving ground, 2 years at the University of Arizona with Coach Jerry Kindle.
Respectful guy, courteous, and a fierce, fierce competitor.
But the pitching coach pleaded to use Trevor's cannon of an arm to pitch.
We need him as our shortstop. We don't have anybody that can step in and play as well as Trevor at shortstop. And so I resisted that reluctantly.
Shortstop Trevor Hoffman.
Cincinnati drafted him out of college with what would be prophetic words on the draft sheet: shortstop/pitcher. As an all-pack college shortstop, he was a good batter with an aluminum bat.
They took that aluminum bat out of my hand, stuck the wood bat in, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's a whole new ball game. My swing wasn't adapted, didn't adapt real well to that style of play.
He struggled in rookie ball, then in single-A Charleston.
I never realized what Glenn had gone through to make it to the big league level. I thought it was just, you know, no big deal.
Cincinnati didn't want Trevor as a shortstop, but before releasing him, offered to see what he could do on the mound. He hadn't pitched since Little League because of his father's fear of ruining a young arm. So the last 2 months of the season, Trevor learned mechanics.
No breaking balls, no change-ups, just throw strikes. And they liked what they saw, and they invited me back.
Now it was up to Trevor. At 23 years old, an age when a player's usually locked into his position, shifting gears was a big decision.
And I said, I'm doing it. There's no way I'm not gonna give it a shot.
Work ethic was outstanding. The kid that had the game in perspective.
He would come and park his little Toyota right behind the bleachers behind us and run in the outfield and throw in the pin.
Spring of '91, back in the minors, pitching.
I had no clue what to expect.
As a starter, then a reliever.
Sooner or later, that opportunity came where, you know, I was going to get a chance to close some ball games out for him, and you know, I took a stranglehold of that role, and I wasn't going to give it up. And things were a rocket ship from that point forward.
Coming up on One, getting inside Trevor Hoffman's head and insight into his routine, part of the secret to his success. While Trevor Hoffman was moving up the ranks in the Cincinnati minor league system, the Reds chose not to protect him during the 1992 expansion draft, so he was up for grabs for the new teams, Colorado and Florida. Trevor Hoffman picks up the story of how he got his major league news with his father at a neighborhood pizza parlor, listening to the draft announcements on TV.
You have no clue, literally no clue. The fourth pick for the Florida Marlins is Trevor Hoffman from the Cincinnati Reds. And we look at each other and we go, oh my God, we're hugging and making a ruckus. There's really nobody in there at that 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was just like, what a special moment to experience that with your father.
1993, Trevor Hoffman had made it to the big leagues.
Got him! And people recognize you and know who you are. And I'm going, this is great.
Mid-season, Florida trades him to San Diego.
Bummed, thoroughly bummed. The fans in San Diego and weren't real open arms to a young kid coming in that's been unproven, and especially when a Gary Sheffield's going the other way and they see what's happening in their club.
The rookie gave up 3 runs his first appearance, but in '94 and '95 came of age as a pitcher with 20, then 31 saves. And in 1996?
You had guys like Finley and Caminiti who were having career years, and a guy named Hoffman was doing his part too.
Got him with a changeup. You can't believe the variety of pitches that Trevor Hoffman has come up with.
Saving 42 games, none as important as the one September 29th against the Dodgers.
That's it. Curtis strikes out, and the San Diego Padres are the champs of the NL West.
It's rings, it's dogpiling, it's pouring champagne on each other. That's anybody cares about.
A sweet memory the team wouldn't repeat in '97, although Trevor finished second in the league for saves. As for 1998...
Struck him out, and that's It's the ball game.
Trevor Hoffman is on fire, setting club records and tying the Major League record for 41 consecutive saves.
The strike away from a one-run win. And that's it.
Confident and composed, he's no doubt matured since his minor league days of trying to project an image by eating bugs.
I guess that's what I kind of thought the role entailed, was to be this loose cannon or this wacko guy that people fear because he eats bugs or he does stupid things. This mystique that you have to develop really doesn't mean squat, because people are going to get to know you, and the only way you're going to challenge people is with your stuff.
His stuff is an arsenal of pitches.
Boy, did you see the action on that pitch?
Pitches that move all over the plate, evolving from a tweaked shoulder in '94.
My velocity was down. I wasn't the same power pitcher I was when I first came up or first even started throwing.
He learned location is a better defense than just speed.
Breaking ball for a strike. How about that?
And he's mastered the elusive changeup.
Changeup swung on and missed. 1-2.
Beyond his arm and his intellect, he is methodical, disciplined, even a little superstitious.
I pick a hat in spring training, and I run with it. It's the only one I use throughout the season. That hat shows and signifies that you've grinded it out for 8 months.
He grinds it out every day.
Being in good shape, it takes, an effort.
He arrives early to run.
I do that just to kind of clear my mind from what I've been doing earlier in the day. I do some sit-ups and do some arm weights and get ready for batting practice.
He doesn't hit or shag much, doesn't want to get hurt. At the start of the game, he's in the bullpen.
It's usually pretty lighthearted. Once the middle of the fifth comes, I take off.
He walks under the stands, through the underground tunnel to the clubhouse.
You can't just all of a sudden, for me anyway, just turn a light switch on and go, okay, I'm locked in. It's something that takes maybe 30 minutes to my quiet time. So I kind of escape from it. And I'm by myself in the locker room, and I shine my shoes and get ready for the ball game and run in and take a shower and let some hot water roll on my shoulders so it kind of loosens up. I just feel clean, I'm ready to go. From there I get dressed and I go in the training room and I go through kind of what the starters go through. I'm not talking with anybody. We know exactly what we're doing. We don't have to communicate, and we have the TVs up. So I'm constantly in touch with the game.
Once he comes back out, towards the bottom of the eighth, he's a totally different person. He's, totally focused.
I start watching the game, and I can see situations starting to develop.
He's our guy. If the game's on the line, if there's a safe situation out there, when that phone rings in the ninth inning, everybody in the bullpen knows it's Trevor.
The phone rings, Toffee, you're up. I usually will take time then to tighten up my shoes tight.
He warms up on the bullpen mound, picks up the rosin bag.
To get a little bit of tack going so I can feel a little better with my curveball and my changeup feels comfortable in my hand. And that's just another inside of the little routine that just kind of, right before you're going into the fire, this is what's the last stage, the last step before, I feel like I'm ready to go.
What's that like, the walk to the mound?
I don't think there's a better feeling in this game. To turn and go from the bullpen mound and start jogging towards the mound, it's like going in, it's got to be something like a prize fighter, like a heavyweight champion going in the ring. It's that type of mental game within yourself. You got 50,000 people or 40,000 people either for you or against you, and they're screaming and yelling, so it doesn't matter where you're at. You can make everybody seem like they're for you with what they're yelling. But then it's time to go, and it's like, let's rock for 3 outs, let's go.
Do you think people just have come to expect and maybe even take it for granted that when Trevor Hoffman comes in, he's going to save the game?
Maybe, but I think that's a credit to doing my job. In my head, there's nothing being taken for granted. There's no way that I walk into a ball game and go, I got these turkeys right where I want them.
You'd never know it. He never reveals if he's having a good day or a bad day.
He doesn't intimidate me per se, but Once I see him get on that mound, I know I better, crank it up and be ready to hit.
For the past 6 years, I've not had any, I don't think I've gotten any hits off him.
He's a lot different than a lot of closers in the fact that he can pitch. He just doesn't just go out there and throw hard. He can pitch.
So he mixes it up really well, and he's just really tough.
Changeup swung on and missed. That's the ball game.
After the game's victory walk on the field, Trevor sits in the dugout, his body still shaking.
It's my quick little way of let's analyze what just went on. Let's think about what you did out there, and then once that's over with, I'm usually waiting for Book and Stump to come give me a little bit of their love, and then we go in the dugout and it's all over with, and we get ready for the next day.
What do you learn more from or carry around with you more, when you save a game or don't?
Good question. I think you have to learn or take something from both. When you're going good and you've saved a lot of ball games, there's a good opportunity for you to get real high and big-headed and, I'm going good and this and that. And the moment you do that, this game's going to slam you. It's going to slam you to the floor as hard as it can.
There it goes. Alou has tied the game and cost Trevor Hoffman a chance to set a major league record.
You can't slam yourself even harder than the game has because you got to pick yourself up. You got to have enough self-confidence that your stuff is good enough and that you can get them out, and you're going to get them out the next time you go out there.
Trevor Hoffman's best is his claim to fame. Up next on One-on-One, how he defines and deals with success in baseball, in life, and at home with his family.
He's the saved man. He is the saved man.
He's a good soldier.
There's a lot on that man's shoulders, and he better do his job.
I think he's the difference between winning and losing.
Trevor Hoffman's not just captivating fans in San Diego.
Trevor Hoffman has been outstanding this year.
And he has the real good fastball and the exceptional changeup.
These figures presented by Trevor Hoffman are awesome.
All around baseball, people are talking about Trevor Hoffman.
Who wouldn't want people to know who the heck you are when you're playing a game that's as well known as it is? But there's a certain level where you kind of want to be the unknown. You want to be the underdog.
Unless it's at his first appearance in an all-star game.
What an experience that was. 40 million people in there. The reality of where you were at really finally hit.
While others at least cracked a smile.
My big brother goes, you smile a little bit, dude.
Trevor Hoffman.
I have this long hair, and it probably would have taken the hat off, and the hair would have flopped over. I took gum out there. My mom always says, don't chew gum when you're on TV, and so I had gum in my left hand, so I wouldn't have been able to flip the hair back, and I'm just going to tip my cap and go back in line.
In the stands, his wife Tracy and their sons, Brody and Quinn.
He's worked so hard to get there, and I just looked at him and I said, I am so proud of you.
This baseball success didn't occur to Tracy Hoffman 6 years ago. Trevor was in AAA and approached her while out one night in Buffalo, New York.
And she said, well, I don't give up my number, but you can reach me at work, and this is where I work.
He forgot her real estate office's name, but recalling she was a Buffalo Bills cheerleader, his agent tracked her down.
He's interested in buying some property in the Buffalo, New York area, and we'd like to get the number of where she works.
I'm thinking, all right, great, I'm gonna have a sale.
It took me 4 days to find her, but fortunately we had 4 days up in Buffalo, and it was well worth the effort.
And he was just so funny on the phone. I mean, he was just a jokester, and he made me smile.
Tracy didn't know much about baseball then. She thought the instructional league was for struggling rather than special players with potential.
So when my parents asked me, what does he do? Well, he used to play baseball, but I guess he was really bad, so now he's done with his career. So I had no idea that he was going to do as well as he did. But it's nice, though. I mean, I didn't see dollar signs when I met him, that's for sure.
He proposed at the Super Bowl, and they married in 1993.
She's fantastic. She's a beautiful woman. She's really the heart and soul and the glue to the whole thing, and people don't realize it.
I know baseball's going to end. I know it's not going to be there forever. So, and let's focus on his career and what he's doing right now, and let's achieve his goals.
Give Mama love and love. Atta boy.
And I have so much enjoyment out of my children that I don't think any career could ever come close to that, fulfilling that.
I like when I see my kids get up in the morning and they got a big smile on their face.
Yeah, he's a good dad. He's a kid himself, so he's right there with them playing.
Trevor rarely misses an opportunity for a good laugh.
Or I could go like this, be like a psychiatrist. Yeah, I'm really scared of my job. And
I wish I were an Oscar wiener. That's what I truly like to be.
And while he didn't get his father's singing voice, his talents are clear. He's a 3-time Padre Pitcher of the Year, the 96 Sporting News National League Fireman of the Year, and in 97 became the Padres' all-time save leader. 98 brings new dimensions. Locally, he's celebrated as one of the Padres' marquee players.
Okay, right here, Trev.
Cheese. Go say cheese.
Are you doing cheese? Did that have a kiss? No.
Nationally, he's drawn attention by tying the Major League record for consecutive saves and by facing his rival team, the Dodgers, when his brother Glenn made his debut as a Major League manager.
Remember that day when both you guys were at the stadium together and we could sit back and have a cigar and think about it and talk about it?
I'm enjoying it, and I know his dad is.
regardless if he's up in a better place, he's there with us. He's at every step of the way.
All right, nice to see you.
Trevor Hoffman's compassionate and empathetic sides are clear as he's embraced the National Kidney Foundation and organ donation as his cause.
You the man, you the man.
He greets young patients and donates $200 for each save, $25,000 so far for research, education, and to help organ recipients like Justin Lamantia.
He always makes it so you always have a lot of hope. Thank you for being here for me and being my friend.
A happy and confident Trevor Hoffman knows what bothers him.
When things don't go right, confusion adds to more confusion, and I get a little stressed out about that stuff. There's no doubt about it, and I have a hard time dealing with it.
One place he seeks relief.
This is so beautiful.
Is the ocean.
The sun's just starting to go down and it's lighting up the sky. There's nothing like that puts me in a good mood. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than watching Mother Nature show her glory.
See the lone sail ship in the middle of the sun down there, you see that?
After his playing days, with no concern for an arm injury, he'll try surfing, maybe even auto racing. He has a sense of adventure and a sense of security in San Diego, signed through 1999, and now settling into a new home with a pool table and wall art by Brody.
It's not just about money and cars and stuff. It's about having good health and having two beautiful baby boys.
These are the days.
I would have to say I have a strong faith in God. I have achieved everything I have achieved, and Trevor for the same reason, because of him.
Trevor Hoffman's coat of armor, code of ethics, and competitive nature are rooted in his upbringing and have matured with marriage, fatherhood, and his career. While a World Series ring would be the pinnacle,
when it's all said and done, to look back upon a career and say, we were pretty good. I was pretty good, and I helped a club be good for a long time.
I mean, he's flat out the best in the game. I haven't seen anybody like him.
Those games, if they get away, man, that changes the psyche of the club. So to have the consistency and of Trevor is huge for this team.
He's always motivating, always talking about, trying to drag that extra little bit out of players.
He's always willing to help, always willing to offer a little bit.
I enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy being the closer for the San Diego Padres. I know that, and the other stuff is gravy. As far as the fame and things like that, it strokes your ego again. But again, you got to be well grounded. You got to understand where you came from.
he understands and remembers being that little boy who worked to excel in sports like his two big brothers.
He just reinvents himself, and he's just one of those guys that's not only a survivor, but he goes that above and beyond.
Trevor Hoffman understands what it takes to achieve. So if the eyes are the window to the soul, what does he hope others will see when they look into his eyes?
That a guy's that's going to give 100%, that when he's been given a task to do, that he's going to do it wholeheartedly, and you're not going to have to worry about if he really was doing his best.
While Trevor Hoffman is brilliant at slamming the door on the opposition and saving games, He can also open our eyes to what energy, effort, and enthusiasm for one's profession and for life can bring. Not bad for that skinny little kid who was always the underdog. Not bad for a guy who's always known where he wanted to be. I'm Jane Mitchell. Hope you'll join me next time for One on One.